Hey guys, Albe here. I had a pretty rough week this time around. So today, instead of working in the garage, why don't we just hop on the bike and go get a coffee? But now for the chit chat, let's get on it. This is one of those days, you know, when you wake up and after a week of beating, you don't really want to do much other than literally hop on the bike and go grab a coffee. Now I understand that probably my worst week, it's equal to somebody's best week, so I'm aware that I'm pretty fortunate for the life I live. But every once in a while, everybody's gonna get a rough week. Well, this past week was pretty rough for me, so here I am, on the bike, going to get coffee. So one quote comes to mind, and the quote is, "I have a fever, and the only cure is more motorcycle." Yeah, I know, it's not motorcycle, it's cowbell, but, well, I don't have a cowbell, I have a motorcycle, so motorcycle it is. I like it better that way. Life doesn't slow down, life doesn't give you a break. Life in general is pretty tough with a little bit of joy here and there. You got work, you got family, you got bills to pay, you got mouth to feed. So it doesn't really matter if you're rich, poor, if live in a nice part of town, in a bad part of town. Yes, people in a bad part of town might have more rough week than people in a good part of town, but there is gonna be that week that is gonna beat you up no matter what. So on those days, for those of us that actually have a motorcycle, there is only one thing to do. Hop on and go for a ride. Obviously, going for a ride is not gonna fix it all. Actually, it's not gonna fix anything. The thing that does is, at least for me, when I ride, I really focus on the bike, I really focus on the street, I really focus on pretty much staying alive. So for that hour or two, all my thoughts or all those stress and problems, they get muted by the focus that I put into riding the motorcycle. And that is not gonna solve pretty much anything other than give you some relief, some quiet time. You have your brains take a break, and once you're done riding the motorcycle, get back to the problems at hand and figure it out. Most of those health experts yap about eating healthy and going to the gym and catching plenty of sleep and this and that, and the average person just can't. Eating healthy is mostly expensive. If you really want to eat healthy, you need to buy healthy food, which costs way more. You need to take the time to prep the food and cook it. And that's not simple. People just don't have the time. Most likely people like me go to work and work 8, 9, 10, 12 hours a day. And there is not just enough time to get there and cook a meal for you. I got my parents back in Italy every once in a while tell me, "Oh, just cook a plate of pasta." It's like, Ma, it's not that way. Life here is really hectic. There is no break. So there you have it. And then they say, "We'll go to the gym." Same problem. Especially if you have a family. When do you have the time to go to the gym? And let's not even talk about getting 8 to 10 hour worth of sleep, because that's a dream. You know, especially those that actually work shifts. Nurses, doctors, firefighters, cops, pilots. You work nights, and when you go home in the morning, you're going to sleep and trying to get some, but you'll sleep 4, 5 hours, 6 at the very most, especially if you have a family. Because at a certain point you have life to live, so you can't just go to sleep for 8 to 10 hours while the rest of the world is active, and then shower, dress up, and go back to work to spend the rest of the night at work. It just doesn't work that way. And even when you don't work nights, if you have kids, you know, the only time you have time to do anything around the house is when the kids go to bed. And guess what? They go to bed at 8 o'clock, they'll wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, barge into your room, and there you go, you're done sleeping for the day. While you went to bed at midnight because you were balancing your checkbook, or you were taking care of those things that are really, really difficult to do when kids are running around. That is just what it is, and we just gotta deal with it. So my way of dealing with it: put on a helmet, get on the bike, and give it all. And in a morning like this, it's not too cold, it's not too hot, the bike feels really good, that puts everything back into perspective. One word of advice though: sometime when you're pissed off at the world, when it feels like there is nothing you can do and you have just anger brewing in, remember to be mindful of your wrist, because nothing good ever came out of riding a motorcycle in anger. I know by experience. You're angry, you want to go fast, you want to pop wheelies, you want to do all those things that are not that safe. Focus your mind, try to keep your wrist at bay, and then once you're done riding your motorcycle, hopefully you're not angry anymore. But speaking about being burned out, I just watched a movie on Netflix that actually is called Burn Out, and it was a pretty good movie. Actually made me want to hop on the bike and go on a ride. Mind you, we all know that most motorcycle movies kind of suck. Torque, it is what it is. Very unplausible riding situations. Or the other movie, Biker Boys. Those are the two biggest that I can remember. There are a few other good movies about motorcycles out there, but they're really few, and usually the bike is only the means for which the main character goes around, rather than being the focal point of the movie. And this movie, this Burnout movie, that's just what it does. He's a biker, but he's dealing with all sorts of problems. Yeah, every once in a while he gets a little preposterous, but that's just because it's a movie. They're just trying to entertain you. A warning, it's probably sponsored by Ducati, because there are a ton of Ducatis in the movie, and I believe the only other bike going by is a Kawasaki H2 or something like that. But in the end, it's an hour and 40 minutes worth of entertainment, especially if you like motorcycles. And bonus point, it's a French movie. It's dubbed in English, so you guys don't have to read the subtitle. But if your girlfriend or wife wants to watch a French movie, guess what? There is one about motorcycles. But here we are, it's time now to go inside and grab a coffee, relax for a minute, and come on, let's go in. Let's get a cappuccino. The cappuccino was great, but I didn't want to be the a-hole inside yapping senselessly while everybody else is trying to mind their business. So here I am back at the bike. If you guys are riding around Southern California, drop me a line. Let's go grab a coffee so you can tell me about your bike. But it's time for me to go get some more motorcycle on. So like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.